Obviously, this is a very tough day for the entire Oilers family, all the fans, but more importantly, and most importantly, the family. Obviously, Ben meant so much to myself, to my teammates, and the relationship that kind of developed over the course of a year or so was something that I certainly won't forget. He was an amazing, amazing little guy who lit up every single room he was in. Certainly lit up our room every time he walked in there, and yeah, I don't know what else to say. Obviously, a terrible day, and we're thinking about the entire Stelter family.
Zach, you'd like to give a couple comments?
Yeah, just echoing what Connor said. If any of you met Ben, you'd kind of understand what he's saying when he says that he lit up any room. What he went through, you wouldn't know it just by meeting him. He always had a smile on his face, and just carried himself just so happy all the time, and just such a good kid. And he didn't just touch all of us, but our entire families and the entire hockey world. So he's going to be greatly missed, and he's such an inspiration to all of us, and he really what he went through really puts everything into perspective. So just sending our condolences to his entire family, and we'll miss him a lot.
And Jay?
Yeah, thanks everybody for coming today, and like to echo what Zach and Connor said as well. It's just passing along our deepest sympathies and condolences to Ben's family. In my time over the last few months of getting to know Ben, I was greatly impressed with the courage of a young man who defined what a bright light was. Not only did he walk into our dressing room and our arena and light up our team, but I thought he lit up our fan base. As a father myself, I get to see the impact that professional athletes have on children. But what I found really interesting about our time with Ben was the impact that a child had on a team and an organization in the city. And I'm thankful to have gotten to know him. And as I said, deepest sympathies and condolences to his family.
Thank you for those comments. If we have any questions now, we'll open up to media questions. Start with Reed Wilkins, 630 Ched.
Hi guys, thanks for doing this, and condolences on losing Ben. I know it's a tough day, and thanks for speaking to him. Connor, if you wouldn't mind, I'm just wondering if you could take us back to your first meeting with Ben, how that maybe all started and developing a bond with him.
It actually started a long time ago. I think his dad had messaged, had reached out on Twitter or something like that, and I think we had responded and stuff like that, and so just very briefly, and then it was actually I think September last year. I got a chance to meet him for the first time, and just obviously just fell in love with him right away, and the entire family, and kind of just developed that relationship, I guess, kind of over the course of the year. And just loved being around him. I thought Woody made a great point of professional athletes have an impact on kids, but Ben had such a impact on our team and myself, even in the short time that we knew him, even over the course of the year. But just such an amazing kid. So strong, so brave. I think, when you watch someone go through that, anybody, not only a 5 or 6 year old kid, I think but especially when you're 5 or 6 years old, to see him go through that was truly inspiring. He was such a fighter, and I don't know, just an awful day.
Yeah. And Zach, it was that game in late March. He sort of came into the wider public view when he was the Scotiabank skater, and then you had a really cool moment with him when you got to do the post game with him. I'm just wondering if you could kind of share the memory of that night and probably something that's going to stay with you for a long time. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. I think just first and foremost, how he wasn't nervous or shy at all. He was ready to go on stage. He was excited to go on stage. Whereas most kids his age would be nervous in front of a room of media. Some players would be nervous in front of a room of media. Also, this guy was excited, huge smile on his face, and just kind of wanted to talk about the game and talk about the win. And one of my favorite memories from that presser was somebody asked him who his favorite player was, and he looked at me and he goes, Connor. And so he really did have that connection with Connor, and really did love him. So, but yeah, just that it was awesome. And then obviously the fans were kind of outside in our media room. If you're familiar with it, you have the fans on the glass, and they're all kind of chanting his name. So that was another really cool moment to be able to share with him, and his family was in the room also. So just a great moment, and something that I'll cherish for sure.
Thank you. Morgan Black, go ahead.
Hi, thanks for taking my question. And again, I just want to echo my condolences. I know how much Ben meant to everyone. So it's clear how big of an impact he had on the team. I'm wondering how the team and the players plan to carry on Ben's legacy, perhaps on a personal level or beyond.
Who's that question for, Morgan?
It could be for maybe Connor first and then Mr. Woodcroft.
Okay.
You know what? It's so sudden and so soon. Nobody's really had a chance to talk about anything, and obviously everyone's still kind of just kind of obviously dealing with however they're feeling about it. So I think obviously we'll have to step back, and we'll obviously have to figure that out. It's something that we can talk about in the coming weeks and months. And but I think it's way too soon to answer that question.
Yeah, I would agree with Connor. I think right now everyone's just in the phase of processing the news and dealing with the loss. For me, I know his spirit's going to live on for sure. And you heard two of our leaders talk about the impact that he had in our dressing room with just his approach. I know his spirit's going to live on through our team for sure.
Thank you. And Connor, sorry.
No, go ahead, Morgan.
Thank you. Obviously so much to love about Ben. Connor, I'm wondering if you could share a favorite memory that sticks with you.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to pick one, but I think for me, it had to be sharing that moment with him, when he was the skater there. Just being able to see his face and be close to him. And not a lot of people get to experience what the ice feels like, and what it sounds like, but it was pretty loud in there. It's coming from someone that does it almost every night. So just to experience that with him was really special for me, and something that I'll definitely always remember.
Sarah Chu, go ahead.
Thanks for taking my question. Also would like to echo what my colleagues have said about just this being such a tough time for everyone. So thank you for speaking to us today. I would love to know, this could go to any of you three, what will always remind you of Ben? I think the public has their own perceptions of him from social media, but what are those kind of special things that will be maybe your own shared jokes or things that you hear or see that makes you think of him?
Who would you like to answer that, Sarah?
Connor can answer this.
Sorry, you asked what was going to make us think of Ben.
Mhm.
That's again a tough question. But I think for me, I'm always going to think about him after a win. After a win, when that there's that video, it's kind of everywhere with him saying, "Play La Bamba, baby," and I think that's what I'm going to think about him. But yeah.
And Zach?
Same thing. I was going to say, just play La Bamba, baby. That clip of him, I think it's all over Twitter, but it's something that I think our fans rallied around in playoffs, and he was on the video screen there. And my brothers, I got 4 brothers, and they loved it, and it was something that we always talked about too. So definitely that.
And how do you think Ben contributed to all the games that were won during the Stanley Cup playoffs? How did his energy impact you all as a team?
Well, I think he was always kind of on the glass, and I think a lot of players just loved seeing him, and it just energized you before a game. Just seeing this kid is going through so much, and just enjoying and loving the Oilers and loving winning, and it makes you want to keep going and keep winning. And if you can kind of distract him from what he's going through, I think a lot of guys took a lot of pride in that, and just winning for Ben and making his life easier. And I know that his passion was the Oilers, so it was always great to see him on the glass and give him a little fist bump, or see him before we walked out.
Johnny Wakefield, go ahead.
Hi there. This is obviously one of those really tough moments, I think, where people will ask kind of on an existential level, why is a young man born and then gets sick and has to go through this? And I'm just wondering I don't know if faith is part of any of your lives, but I'm just wondering if you're trying to answer that question on any level, and that's open to anyone to answer.
Jay, did you want to take that one?
Sure. Yeah. I think in listening to Zach answer about Ben's impact on the players and high-fiving, and he used a word that I thought was interesting, which was it was energizing to our group, to have someone's enthusiasm drive our team forward. I thought that was great. I thought, in my time getting to know Ben and his effect on our team, I thought it put a lot of things in perspective for a lot of people, in defining what's important in life. And I used the word earlier, just see the courage that this young man had to battle what he had to battle, and the lessons that could be learned from him. So I think, in terms of, getting to know Ben and then working our way through a tough day yesterday, I think it puts a lot of things in perspective.
Thanks, Jay. Final question, CTV News, go ahead.
Hi there. Thank you for taking my question, and thank you for doing this. And I'll echo my colleagues as well. My condolences to all of you on what's been a rough 24 hours, I'm sure. We've talked a lot, with you guys about Ben on the ice, obviously, and his impact. But when we go off the ice, Ben touched the hearts and lives of people, I would argue, around the world. Everybody knew Play La Bamba, everybody knew Ben. And I guess I'm just curious, did you guys expect that? Did you expect that this little Scotiabank skater would touch the lives of so many people? And when we're looking ahead, what the larger impact his spirit and his legacy are going to have on not just Edmonton, but kids with cancer in general? And sorry, I'd like to direct that question maybe to Zach Hyman and Mr. Woodcroft, because I understand you're both fathers.
Well, I'll start. I thought, the response of our organization, the response of our community, the response of the hockey world. Connor mentioned that earlier in this press conference, of how well known Ben was throughout the hockey world, and how many people are expressing condolences and thoughts and prayers to Ben's family. I think that speaks to the impact that he had. For me, in kind of wrapping it all up, we lost the little boy who displayed nothing but courage on a daily basis. He was able to inspire a team. He was able to inspire a city. He had the support of everybody in Northern Alberta, and for that matter, I think across the country and the hockey world. I think as a father, as I said earlier, I think it was special for me to see the effect that he had on so many people, and I know that I'm just thankful for my time that I got to spend with him. And we lost a bright light, but as I said earlier, his spirit will live on for sure.
Yeah. I think to answer your question, I think as players, you don't really think about how viral, I guess, it's going to go, or how many people it's going to reach. You just try to kind of distract Ben in this case from going through what he's going, and try to give him some sort of relief. And I think the reason that the whole hockey community and the world, I guess for that matter, were so attached to him was just because of not what he was going through, but because of the person who he was. And in the videos, you just saw this little boy who just had such life and energy, no matter what the situation was. And I think that's what kind of everybody was drawn to, and why everybody is, feeling the way that they are, because of the way he impacted so many people. And you saw it from any type of media you saw him in, to him saying La Bamba, just the videos that his dad would post online. I think people just enjoyed seeing him and enjoyed rooting for him and praying for him. And I think that's why so many people are here now, and why it's affected so many people.